The air in Black Hollow grew thick and suffocating as the Hollow King's influence reached its peak. Amelia Granger gripped the ancient relic, the obsidian dagger still pulsating from their last encounter. Beside her, Lila Vargas scanned the empty street that now writhed like a living entity. Shadows stretched unnaturally long, and whispers echoed from nowhere and everywhere at once. "It's happening," Amelia whispered, eyes locked on the distant silhouette of the desecrated church, its spires twisted into grotesque angles. The Hollow King is fully unleashed. A low hum filled the air as a ripple of dark energy pulsed through the town, twisting reality into a surreal tapestry of flickering memories. Ghostly figures of townsfolk frozen in time, reliving their final moments before the darkness consumed them. "We have one chance," Lila said, gripping Amelia's hand tightly. "We end this tonight." The familiar streets of Black Hollow were gone. In their place stood distorted reflections of a town lost to madness. Buildings warped as though seen through shattered glass. Lanterns flickered with unnatural blue flames, and the cobbled roads writhed like serpents beneath their feet. Amelia's heart ached at the sight of her home transformed into a nightmarish realm. She recalled the laughter that once filled the market square, now a swirling void of shadows. The Hollow King had turned every cherished memory into a weapon against them. "We need to get to the church," Amelia said, determination hardening her voice. "It all ends where it began." Amelia's gift, her curse, had brought her to this moment. She had always sensed the otherworldly, felt the touch of things beyond human comprehension. Now, as the Hollow King's power twisted reality itself, she knew she was the only one who could face him. Lila, ever the scholar, had been her anchor through the madness. Her knowledge of ancient rituals and forgotten histories had brought them this far. But even she trembled at the nightmare unfolding before them. Amelia's hands tightened around the dagger. The Hollow King whispered in her mind, tempting her with promises of power, of release from her torment. She shook her head. No more. As they approached the church, reality shimmered like a mirage. The building flickered between its ruined state and its former glory, a cruel reminder of what was lost. "Do you feel that?" Lila asked, voice barely audible. Amelia nodded. The air was too still, too perfect. A memory. No, a trap. The doors creaked open on their own, revealing an interior that defied logic. Walls stretched into infinity, the pews floating in midair. And at the altar stood a figure wreathed in shadow. The Hollow King's voice echoed through the warped space. "Welcome back, Amelia." Amelia and Lila exchanged a glance before stepping into the warped church. The air grew colder with each step, and the ground beneath them seemed to shift like a living thing. Whispers danced along the walls, and each flickering candle cast impossible shadows. The Hollow King's power was at its peak, but somewhere within this nightmare lay the answer they needed. "We need to find the heart of this place." Lila said, clutching the ancient text she had brought with her. "The ritual that binds him. It has to be here." The walls shimmered, showing glimpses of the past, sacrificial rituals, desperate townsfolk, and the Hollow King's rise to power. Each scene added to the weight Amelia carried. They moved through the endless halls, encountering distorted echoes of the townsfolk. Familiar faces twisted by the Hollow King's influence appeared and vanished, pleading, warning, or laughing maniacally. Each encounter chipped away at their resolve. "It's not real," Amelia whispered, gripping Lila's hand tightly. "None of it's real." But one figure made them pause. Ethan, or at least what remained of him. His form flickered, trapped between his old self and the Hollow King's thrall. "You can't win," he whispered. "You'll never find it in time." They pressed on, deeper into the labyrinthine church. The walls bled shadows and the floor pulsed like a heartbeat. The walls pulsed as if alive, and the Hollow King's voice boomed around them. "I will offer you mercy," it hissed. "Leave now, and I will spare what's left of your minds." Lila shook her head. "We're not leaving." Suddenly, tendrils of shadow lashed out from the walls, forcing the pair to dive for cover. The Hollow King was no longer content to wait. Amelia's lantern shattered, leaving them in near total darkness save for the dagger's faint glow. "Amelia!" Lila screamed, barely dodging the shadows that slithered toward them. "Keep moving!" Amelia shouted back, slashing at the tendrils with the glowing dagger. Each strike left a faint tear in the shadows, but they quickly mended, crawling through narrow, shifting corridors. Amelia and Lila pieced together the fragments of the ritual, from ancient carvings and cryptic symbols that appeared and disappeared along the walls. Each step forward felt like walking through syrup, the air thick with malevolent energy. "What if it's not the relic alone?" Lila asked, flipping through her book. "What if it needs a catalyst?" Amelia's breath caught. "A soul." Lila's face paled. "There's always a cost." They finally reached the heart of the church, a vast swirling void where the altar once stood. Floating above it was the relic, and behind it, the Hollow King's true form, a mass of writhing darkness with burning eyes. Amelia clutched the dagger tightly, its pulse syncing with her racing heart. The void around the Hollow King warped reality, showing twisted reflections of Amelia and Lila's worst fears. The dagger in Amelia's hand pulsed in response. The final ritual was clear. One of them would have to offer their soul to wield the relic's power. Lila turned to Amelia, fear and resolve in her eyes. "We have to choose," Amelia's voice cracked. "But which one of us?" Amelia's mind reeled as the weight of the choice bore down on her. The swirling void crackled with dark energy, and the Hollow King's fiery eyes watched them with cruel amusement. The dagger in her hand pulsed violently, demanding a soul. Shadows clawed at the edges of the room, waiting to consume any moment of hesitation. The air thickened, making it hard to breathe. Amelia's vision blurred as memories of her past, of her family, her friends, and every moment that had led her here flickered through the chamber like distant echoes. She glanced at Lila, who was trembling but determined, clutching the ancient text to her chest. "We don't have time," Lila whispered, eyes glistening with fear. "If we don't act, the Hollow King will win." Amelia clenched her teeth, every fiber of her being resisting the decision. Could she sacrifice herself? Could she live with losing Lila? The ground beneath them shifted, and the shadows around them grew more restless, sensing their indecision. Lila frantically flipped through the ancient text, searching for an alternative. "There has to be another way," she muttered, her voice trembling. Pages crinkled under her fingertips as ancient symbols flickered in and out of existence, the magic in the air making even the book unstable. The Hollow King's voice echoed around them. "There is no other way. One of you must fall." Amelia's breath quickened. What if the Hollow King itself is the catalyst?" she asked suddenly. Lila's eyes widened. "You mean, if we used the dagger on him," Amelia continued, "could it sever his connection without taking one of us?" Lila scanned the symbols. "It's never been done, but it could work. If we can get close enough." She looked up at Amelia, her expression both hopeful and fearful. The Hollow King snarled, its form flickering like a flame caught in the wind. "Foolish mortals, you cannot harm me." The Hollow King's snarl deepened as tendrils of shadow lashed out, forcing Amelia and Lila to dodge and weave through the crumbling chamber. Amelia's hand trembled as she gripped the dagger tightly. The Hollow King's form grew larger, its power swelling with every passing second. "We only get one shot," Amelia said. "We need to distract him." "I'll do it," Lila offered, voice firm. "You go for the heart. Lila, trust me." Lila sprinted across the room, shouting ancient incantations that caused the Hollow King to recoil. The room shuddered violently as walls cracked and debris rained down. The Hollow King's focus shifted to Lila, rage burning in its fiery eyes. Amelia seized the moment, rushing forward, dagger raised. Shadows clawed at her ankles, pulling at her clothes, but she pressed on, determination blazing in her eyes. Amelia's heart pounded as she faced the Hollow King, its fiery eyes locked on her. She drew a shaky breath and prepared to strike. "Now!" Lila screamed. The Hollow King lunged, its monstrous form enveloping Amelia in darkness. She felt its cold grip on her soul, but with a final cry, she drove the dagger forward, the blade flashing in the dim light, aiming for the heart of the void. Darkness swallowed Amelia as the Hollow King's monstrous form engulfed her. She gasped, feeling her strength wane, her soul tethered to the void. Lila's screams echoed through the chamber, but Amelia could barely hear them over the oppressive silence in her mind. The chamber pulsed with a sickly glow. shadows pressing against her like a suffocating shroud. Amelia's grip on the dagger weakened, fingers trembling as the weight of her memories overwhelmed her. Moments of laughter, loss, and love flickering like fragile flames. Was this her end? "This is where you fall," the Hollow King whispered, its voice a twisted lullaby. "Surrender, and I will grant you peace." Amelia's heartbeat faltered, her will ebbing away, until a voice cut through the void. Lila's voice, clear and unwavering. "Amelia, you're stronger than this." A flicker of defiance sparked within her. Amelia's mind latched onto every memory that defined her. Ethan's sacrifice, Lila's unwavering loyalty, and her own unspoken promise to protect Black Hollow. Her eyes snapped open, filled with resolve. The void shifted, the Hollow King recoiling as Amelia pushed back. A rush of warmth surged through her, and she saw through the darkness a young man, once human, consumed by despair and bound by dark magic. "You were human once," Amelia whispered, "but fear devoured you." The Hollow King's form wavered further, revealing centuries of torment behind its eyes. "You feed on fear," Amelia whispered, stepping forward, "but I'm not afraid." The Hollow King shrieked, its form flickering like a candle in the wind. Tendrils of shadow lashed out, but Amelia deflected them with the glowing dagger. Lila, gathering every ounce of courage, recited an incantation from the ancient text, binding the Hollow King's essence to the chamber. Memories flooded the room, echoes of every soul the Hollow King had taken. Amelia's heart ached for them, but she pushed forward. "Your power ends here," Amelia declared, lunging forward. The Hollow King roared, its eyes burning with fury and despair. With a final surge of strength, Amelia plunged the dagger into the Hollow King's core. Light erupted from the blade, illuminating every corner of the chamber. The Hollow King howled in agony, its form unraveling as shadows peeled away, dissolving into nothingness. The ground trembled violently, cracks splintering through the chamber walls. "We have to go," Lila shouted, grabbing Amelia's hand. They sprinted through the collapsing corridors, dodging falling debris and the remnants of shadow. As they reached the surface, the first rays of dawn broke over Black Hollow. The town, scarred but standing, was free from the Hollow King's grip. Breathing heavily, Amelia looked at Lila, exhaustion and relief washing over her. "It's over," she whispered. Lila nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. But as they turned to leave, a faint, chilling whisper echoed through the morning mist. "I will return." Amelia froze, her eyes narrowing. She knew this wasn't the end. The Hollow King was gone, but not forever. Amelia and Lila exchanged a silent promise, prepared for when the Hollow King's shadow would rise once more.